Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Sons and Daughters. I'm your host, Drew. Hope everyone's enjoying their almost midweek. For those in the path of this upcoming storm, if you haven't, now today and tomorrow will be a great time, especially for those towards the Ohio, Indiana, Michigan areas. It's not going to be affecting us just yet until supposedly Thursday. Get out, get your stuff, stock up. It's been a long time since we've had blizzard-like conditions in this part. And be safe. I know I go back to work tomorrow, so finally. But it looks like I'm going to be going back to work for like a day. And I might get stranded in Ohio for a couple days. Which is cool. I might spend that Christmas with the folks. A lot of places are going to get hard. You're right, Mississippi River Valley area. The storm's so unpredictable, but the worst part of it is, even when we get the storm, it's what's coming after it. It's that polar vortex. I mean, they're calling for sub-freezing weather. So yeah, everyone's definitely in my thoughts on that as we prepare. Don't wait till the last minute, guys. In fact, this time of year, you should have things stocked up in preparation for the winter. Make sure you guys got extra blankets. You gotta be out traveling, going to work like me. Stuff to get water, a little fire, whatever. Put in your trunks on the back of your SUVs. That way, in case something does happen and you get stranded, at least you got the ability to keep yourself warm and hydrated. Make sure you got a lot of carbs. Carbs will help you burn. Will create energy for you to burn, which will help keep you warm. With that said, let's get back into the series that's just looks like it's going to turn into a long series, Mind Games. Mainly, before I was posting stuff on Twitter earlier, before I came across the little Stanford little language thing, which we're going to cover, the elimination of harmful language initiative. And by the way, while we're starting, for everybody that calls yourself an American, that is one of the words they want to eliminate, and they're saying it's harmful. And it's the way this is written up. It basically it gives you instead of American, consider using citizen, or addict. Consider using person with a substance use disorder. And they give the context. Using a person's first language helps out to define people by just one of their characteristics. We're going to get into that and a lot more because symbols. Told you we're going to touch on it sooner or later. Symbols, labels. There's a part where I want to go to first, and yes, I'm going to talk about Twitter's little blue check mark thing. Because that's a form of censorship. I'm going to take the unpopular stance right now That's okay, Bree. You can listen. You know me, I'm used to. Doesn't matter if I have a co-host or not. It'd be nice to have some other people on, but I don't know. I've been feeling shadow banned here of late on a lot of platforms, and I know I'm not, but it's a good. It's I've been saying stuff, been more vocal than I normally am on certain platforms, and with that, you come pay a price. It's like I can't share my videos to my page over on Facebook no more. I literally got to go over there and manually put it in. Page is still there. I guess I can be kind and get my camera on. For those that don't know me, today I'm actually going to be talking about some serious, what I think is important topics. So, I've been listening to a few spaces today over on Twitter. There's some good ones going on. But, the Twitter files, stuff like that. One was called Truth. That was kind of interesting. I've been enjoying the bigger spaces. I like listening. I don't like talking because it's different. It's hard for me. I invite somebody over here, or I give the number out for you to call in so you can join me. I don't have to pay attention to everything and worry about, oh, this person wants to talk. Let me give them speaker or co-host. And I'm so used to not having a co-host. It means I got to do more. So this format for me is the best. And I've always said it, stay true to where your roots are. I started on YouTube. I've stayed on YouTube. I've played around on other platforms, but I've not left my base. I do stream from my group over on the Mines, from the Daughters of Liberty, through the Gathering app, or Jitsi app, the actual app. They call it the Gathering for your group, which allows me to do a lot of cool stuff. Invite you in, give you a link, you can join me live, we can have conversations. I got multiple people in, give out phone number for around the world. I got a number for each country. Allow you guys to call in and participate that way. So there's a lot I can do. And I enjoy it much more than using XSplit or what's the other one? OBS. I had issues with OBS Studio to where I went to go do a podcast and it was somebody else's podcast coming in on the background on my actual account. And they, I put in a grievance about it, talked to a couple people. They're like, oh, we don't know. Somehow they get meshed. And after that, I'm like, no. To me, that's the problem. Too many third-party apps. But enough of that. Let's get on to some fun stuff. Words. I want to talk about words. Words are important. Words have power. They have meaning, but it's if we give them and allow them to have. But they also can be used to subliminally mess with your mind, manipulate you. Let's use the term sub. Subscription. Subscribe to me. All my subs here, which is like 80 here. Everybody takes tries to create a different label for it, but it's still the same thing. It's subscription. But what does sub mean? We get into this topic a lot. I love the term sub. Maybe that's the dom in me or the sadist in me. Maybe it's just the fact that I understand master-slave concept. Because that's what a sub is. If you sub to me, that means you're subservient to me. We're going straight root dictionary origins of words. Not what they're trying to say it means today, because they know full damn well what it means. That's why they use it. It means to subjugate. To me, that's with Sons and Daughters of Liberty. I don't look at you guys as subscribers, followers. Follower is another word. Follow. To follow. It means you're putting your trust in a leader and you're following them. A lot of people follow people blindly and not question. Words are dangerous, especially when consciously we don't think about it, but it has a different aspect when it comes to the subconscious, the psychic. That's where we get the term psychological warfare, propaganda, psyop. Subliminally messaging to set a seed, a trigger. And labels are constantly changing. Much like the King James Bible. The words, the New King James Version, the revised King James. And it keeps going on. I don't know how many revisions of it's been, but I know growing up back in my day of it, to this present day, if I get a new King James Version, it does not match my King James Old English Version. Which, to all you language scholars out there, if you take it back to where most of it was copied over, translated from to Greek to Old English, meanings gets lost in the translations. It changes the story. It changes the meaning. Everybody knows it. We just don't talk about it. And most people don't realize it. You know, that's my big issue, is those words and how you use them. I don't ever want to use and make you think you're a sub to me. Because your views and opinions matter. We're supposed to be free thinkers. We're supposed to be all brothers and sisters. We're supposed to have our own opinions, our own views on things. We're supposed to be able to question and talk about these things. Not blindly follow, not blindly be subservient to somebody and what they say. I'm not your master. You're the master of thyself. I'm the master of myself. But this is how they use us and abuse us. Consciously, we don't think on these terminologies, these gimmicks that they're using like this. We don't think when we go to subscribe to somebody here on YouTube that that's why we're subscribing to them. In fact, I'm curious, what is the minds? Twitter's followers. Let me look. Guys, you guys see me looking over this way because I'm looking over at my bigger screen so I can actually read things. My eyes are still a little blurry from the medication I've been on. I think the minds use followers as well. No, subscriptions. Subscribers. A lot of places uses that terminology. Memberships, to be a member of something. You see, guys, all these words. These words have meaning. They have power to people. People that have egos. that want to rule and control and dictate. And they use it through words, through deception, through illusion. We're dealing with a time and age where they want to change the words. They want to make us subservient to their set of ideology. I mean, blind study. They don't want you to use blind study. They want you to use mass study. Basket case, nervous. Blind review, anonymous review. Committed suicide, died by suicide. Crazy, surprising, wild. These are the terms they want you to say instead of using this word. Same with insane, surprising, wild. OCD, detail-oriented. I mean, they also got medical terms like paraplegic, quadriplegic. This term, let's use quadriplegic, and it's the same way for paralyzed. This term generalizes a population of people while also implying that people with disabilities are not capable. Stand-up meeting, quick meeting. Tone deaf, unlightened. Walk-in, drop-in, open office. Here's the other interesting, graybeard or graybeard. Instead of you saying graybeard, say the person's name. I can see that's proper etiquette, but I'm just speaking of the person's characteristics. I'm not per se speaking of that person. Philippine Islands. Philippines or the Republic of the Philippines. They don't want to say brave. In fact, it says consider using, none do not use. There's a bunch of those that says none do not use in this section. This term perpetuates the stereotype of the noble, courageous savage. To be brave, they're saying you're a savage. Equating the indigenous male as being less than a man. That's the context of what they deem brave means, and they say don't use it. Hell, Geronimo. None, only used when discussing the historical figure. Guru. I found this one interesting. Expert. Subject matter expert, SME. Primary leader, teacher, guide. Lame. Oh, wait, can't say lame. On the warpath, mad on the offensive. Spiritual animals. Favorite animal. Animal I most admire or would like to be. Oh yeah, they got transgender on here too. Kinda. Can't say gentleman. You need to say everyone. Lady, same way. You need to say everyone. I'm not referring to everyone when I say gentlemen or ladies. I'm referring to a group of women. If I say ladies, gentlemen and ladies is the respectful form of saying So that's calling you a woman or a gal or dude or a boy. You're a gentleman. You have class, respect, it's entitlement. That's how it was meant to be. Back in the day, of course. But now they don't want us using those. Hermaphrodite. Instead of saying that, you need to refer to them as intersex person. Oh, they don't want you to say man hours, person's hours, effort hours, labor time. Can't say mankind. People, humankind, human beings. Can't say she-male, tranny, transgendered, transsexual. But instead, they want you to say, for a she-male, transgender woman, trans woman. Tranny, transgender person, trans or non-gendering conforming folk. They don't want you to say people, it's folk. Same with you guys. Can't say that. They don't want you saying that. They don't even want us saying American. U.S. citizen. Child prostitute. Child who has been trafficked. I actually agree with that one. There's one on here I agree with. Can't say Hispanic. What? We can't say thug. Suspect or criminal. Can't. They don't want us using the word survivor either. I didn't see that one earlier. Person who has experience. Person who has been impacted by. Using a person's first language helps to define people by just one of their experiences. If the person identifies with the term, then use it. That's the context that they give. User, they want you to say client. I'm a user, I'm not a client. The client is the person I'm using the product of, or the business of. Or I'm calling the client to have something fixed. I'm the user, not the client. Stupid. Oh, can't say that either. I mean, there's a whole list of them. I'll download the link. I'll download. This is on PDF, so I'll get the link that I got it from and pin it to my comments. You guys are gonna love these. I mean, what the hell? Why do we even need to be grandfathered? Legacy status. Grandfather, legacy. So they don't want me calling my grandfather or my forefather. Oh, can't say master. I've already screwed that up. You're right. They don't want you to say master because they're the masters. You're the slave. Instead of saying master, they want you to say primary or main. And they give various, because, master has more than one meaning. So, master, verb, become adaptive, master, adjective, primary, main. But they don't discuss the master noun, which is the master slave. Can't say masterless. Oh, wait. Slave. Scrum master. I've never even heard that. Secondary replicate worker. Slave labor. Unfair work practices. Underpaid, overworked. They want you to say those instead of using slave labor, saying the word slave. Oh, wait. They even got webmaster and webmaster. Web product owner. Can't call somebody a convict. Person who is or was incarcerated is a proper, what they're saying you're to consider to use. Homeless person. I didn't catch that one. Person without housing. Immigrant. Person who has immigrated, non-citizen. Prostitute. Person who engages in sex work. Well, that's the definition of prostitute. But they don't want you to say prostitute. I mean, the list goes on and on. If I keep going, it's just going to get absolutely crazy. And they got prostitute again, verb, database. Submit, process. But yeah, this was the, let me read the elimination of harmful language interactive, EHLI, is a multi-phase, multi-year project to address harmful language in IT at Stanford. I know where I won't be sending any of my kids, or if I had kids, I wouldn't be sending them to any of the Ivy League schools. Because you don't learn nothing in college. Unless you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, I'd be more wanting them to go to vocational schools. You know, the old adage has been proven a long time ago. Most people walk out with a degree can't do the work inside of a factory to begin with that they spent 4 years learning how to do. Is one action prioritized in the Statement of Solidarity and Commitment to Action, which was published by Stanford CIO Council, CIOC, and People of Color Technology Affinity Group in December of 2020. The goal of the elimination of harmful language initiative is to eliminate many forms of harmful language, including racist, violent, and biased, e.g. disability bias, ethnic slurs, gender biases, implication bias, sexual bias, language in the Stanford Webster websites and code. The purpose of the websites to educate people about the possibility and impact of words we use. They even put a content warning on this. This website contains language that is offensive or harmful. You, as an American, they're saying, because they chose the word American, is harmful. Offensive. And that's what they're going to be teaching our kids. I mean, like I said, it's a huge list. You know, that's why the whole push for the trans stuff. And I told you, anytime they start doing something repetitive with a word, pay attention. Something bigger is coming, because they're numbing you to the use. So when they go to make legislation and push their agenda through, you're numb to the word. You've heard it. Trans-Pacific Pipeline, Transatlantic, whatever, Trans-Siberian Orchestra. No, that's actually a great band, honestly. Just joking there, but they always use the word repetitively. You hear it. You keep hearing it. Next thing you know, here comes transgenderism and all the different categories. They made you numb to it, so when they start passing laws, well, we need to allow same-sex, a gender end of male to be able to use the female bathroom. Or this man that identifies himself as a woman that gets locked up and goes to prison, he needs to be sent to a women's prison. And we've already seen the cases as they've come out where this has went horribly wrong. They'll use words, if they don't change the labels of them or the meanings of them, they'll start using them repetitively. Because if you keep hearing something repetitively, it's just like doing something repetitively. You become numb to it, or you become, or as the saying goes, action without thought, because you've done it so many times, it's just instinct and it happens. So when you hear these words repetitively, eventually when something else happens, oh, okay, yeah, it's cool. Why would I vote against that? Why would I have a problem with that being taught in school? Because it's went into your subconscious, not your conscious. So it put up a little protective thing over the gimmick that they use, the trick, magic, or whatever you want to call it, psychological warfare, to null you to it, to dumb you down to it, so they can do what they want and manipulate you. It's all about control. Words have meaning only if we give them meaning. Words have power only if we give them power. Many ways to do that, many schools of thought, many techniques. So many people are masters of these arts, and they are arts. Language is an art. Language, as we know it, is letters created from our alphabet to form a word that has a frequency and vibration that vibrates. Properly said in the right mannerism, right intonements, right pitch, right vibrations, you can make people do your will. You can influence them, nudge them to do something. It's how the crowd becomes the mob. That's how when you go to church on Sundays or wherever you worship and you hear that speech, when he starts going, I grew up in a Baptist church, fire and brimstone. Oh my God, when he preached, you knew it. When he started going, you felt it. Uh, Pentecostal churches I loved because they'd get going with the music, the singing. People start speaking in tongues. It was amazing to see. It was amazing to feel the energy coming off. Yes, I learned my path has been a long journey, and I didn't stick with one religion when I started questioning things. So when I speak of religion, I speak from, I've pretty much well been there, done that with all religion. And I've seen the same thing that set me on the path to start with. The fire and brimstone from the First Baptist Church. Homosexuals wrong. Catholics are wrong. I didn't agree with that. Why? Because from what I read, from the scripture, from the book, the word, we were to turn our other cheek. We were to love them, not cast them down. But that's not what I was hearing out of the pulpits of every single denomination I went to. And I know some people take offense to that. It's not meant to be offensive, it's meant for you to think. That's why I said religion as a dogma has no place in society at all. It's a spirituality, our spiritual connection with our God. Not the church, but those that will come together. Let me tell you a story. You pay attention to my time too. My grandfather told me this story. On Sundays, his grandfather. Let me back up. One day, me and my grandfather and grandma were going to an auction. It was one of the places in Michigan where my grandfather grew up. They had many places before they finally settled in Ohio. And they had a few places before they settled at the 200-year-old house that's in my family now. I'm like, I want to go. I used to love going to family reunions, meeting the older people. So I wanted to go. I wanted to see. So I don't know, for some odd reason, I started walking. Kind of ventured off. My grandfather always let me do my thing. So I started venturing off down the lane through the field, ended up in a clearing in the woods. I mean, walked in. Here's a big circle clearing. Like I knew where it was at. I mean, I did. I did. I've seen it before. I've been there. It just hadn't been there physically. But I've been there. I've seen this. I've seen myself walking there. I've seen myself going there. My grandfather told me a story, which I'm not going to get into because it's personal, about a visitation he had with angels at that place. But he told me his grandfather or his dad used to go up down that lane to a circle in the woods and he used to preach to everything that was there, the animals, the spirits. He told me everything has a message. He's like, because he didn't go to church. He's like, I live my life. I'm a spiritual man, but I live my life. I don't need a church or some authority to tell me how to be spiritual, what kind of connection I need to have with God. And that stuck with me. Don't get me wrong. There is power in being saved, being baptized. I felt it. That was some of the most powerful experiences of my life. Still recognize it to this day. But it was something else. It was a transition. It was something more spiritual. But yet we're not to question things. We're not to question what the pastor's saying, what the deacons tell us. You start questioning things and you start becoming what the Catholics dubbed as a heathen, a heretic, a pagan. And all that meant was common folk, free thinkers. That's what the root origins of those three words mean. How we've changed and manipulated and used those three words to condemn so many people to death, to isolate them, cancel them, to make people fear them. How so many of these people were about freedoms and liberties. But that went against the control structure. That went against the king, the queen, the church, the status quo of that time. This is why words are so dangerous. Because if you start using your words, you start understanding the words, how they change, how they're used, you start becoming free from them. They can't be used to bond you and subjugate you and divide you and control you. And manipulate you. Words are also symbols. Which is going to get me on my next little rant. Before we start this rant. Here in roughly 20 minutes. The stream's going to cut off briefly. Don't go nowhere. Well, hopefully we don't have. I ran into a glitch a couple days ago, so. But hopefully, normally I just go back in here and just re-put my code in and restart the stream, and we go back live in a couple, less than a minute or two. Just give you the heads up. Don't go nowhere. Some odd reason we've only been limited to an hour, which is good because it allows us to break things up. But symbols. We are bombarded with so much symbology and symbols that have just as much impact as words because they're derived from words. They're given power through words. They're given power through intent. And they're more meant to trigger the subconscious than the conscious mind. We see the golden arches, and subconsciously our mind already knows that's McDonald's. Best known symbol out there. But it is a symbol, and it's meant to trigger that. And it gets me onto the Twitter symbol, the blue check mark. I mean, we have many symbols. We have the thumbs up, thumbs down, right? The bell, the notifications, the little Twitter logo, the Facebook logo, Those are all symbols. Instead of saying Facebook, you see a picture that triggers the name. What it's designed to do. It also triggers that addiction or that draw you there. Or whatever else has been charged into that symbol to bring out a desired effect. Chaos Magic 101. In a sense, but it is. Yeah, we're not going there, but beside the point, I got another channel for that. You know, Elon Musk did that little pull, how he's stepping down. And it's like, yeah, right. This goes back to what I've stated. Actions speak louder than words. Because the outcome of the pull was, yes, step down. Obviously, we all know heavily manipulated by bots. Somebody wrote a script, and there you go. So he gets this concept where, well, I'm only going to allow, when I do my polls, only blue check marks can vote on the polls. Let's get something straight right here now. Anybody that knows me knows this channel. I don't pay to play for anything or anyone. Nor am I going to be too kindly to somebody who wants to censor me because I'm not buying their stupid little label or mark. I'm not marking myself. I don't have an ego. I'm not placing your mark upon my name or something that I created to give you any bit of control over it. And it's a form of censorship. Yes, I said it. And it's the truth. Because it's controlling. Because it's not going to stop the bots. Somebody can easily create a paid account, write a script for a shadowboxing script to where it'll create multiple logins from different places with that account name. And, well, guess what? We're manipulating the polls once again. I mean, I get why he said it. I understand the concept. Kind of much like we could do the argument of voter ID. Is he going to fix it? No. It eliminates some things, but it's not the right solution. The only difference is every state requires you to have a state ID or a driver's license once you become an adult. In many cases, it's a crime not to have. So there is a difference there. But basically, Elon Musk is saying, my vote does not matter. My opinion does not matter. My view does not matter. I am a nobody. I am beneath him because I refuse to pay him. But yet I do pay him by my use and interaction on his platform, by my traffic onto his platform. That is a contribution to his money going to his pocket. I could easily leave and not contribute to that. Steal from him and his shareholders what little are left. He wants to be the champion of free speech, a champion of going against censorship. Cool, I support that. Except for actions speak louder than words. When you do this, eliminate people, a lot of people. I mean, yeah, $8 isn't much. I can't afford $8 right now. Price of eggs is like $12. A thing of eggs, a thing of nutrition and food costs more than an addiction to cigarettes. If I just buy by the pack. How fucked up is that? I'm already barely making it from paycheck to paycheck. That's why I use free source software. I use the tools that are at my disposal. But you know what? By using that stuff, I'm not subjugated to no one. I'm not contracted to no one. I don't got anybody telling me, other than the social platform, if they don't like what I'm saying, tell me, well, we don't appreciate that. That goes against our TOS, that you're constantly changing and making up as you go, or some fucking government fucking official or lame FBI bitch-ass Nazi agent. Do your own history, FBI, CIA. We all know who trained you. That's well documented. History's a bitch. Maybe you should go relearn your history. Quit attacking the American people, the citizens, the ones that actually are paying your paycheck. Because it's a taxpayer's money that's helped paying your check. You've already proven time and time again that you can't be trusted. You've spied on Congress. You've attacked innocent people. You went around to all these social media companies, paid them money to censor people, to control information, and you violated your own oath because you chose a side to a political party when you're supposed to be biased, when you're not supposed to have a side. You're supposed to adhere to the standard and the law of the land and uphold our Constitution and our constitutional rights. Instead of focusing your time going after all the child pornography, sex traffickers on Twitter, Facebook, and all these other social platforms, you decided to steal the American people's freedom of speech, control the information. And I get it. But guess what? The people that told you to do it aren't going to be your scapegoat. You're going to be their scapegoat. Well, we didn't order them to do it. We didn't tell them to do it. When the shit finally hits the fan after all this, if it ever does, you're going to be the Judas. You're the ones they're throwing to the wolves, not them. And it's all legal because, why? Obama's executive order, the NDAA, the Patriot Act, all these bills that we let pass unfederated by these politicians that only care about their greed and the control they have over you. And what crimes they can get away with that fattens their pockets and makes them millionaires in a position of office of trust where they should never become a millionaire because their salary doesn't add up. Many of which sold this country out a long time ago. Many of which who would rather give in to Pfizer, the pharmaceutical companies, the drug cartels, whatnot, whatever, because it fattens their wallets. Allows them to have that high and mighty standard, that egotistical maniac power grab, an illusion of control when they're nothing but puppets themselves. Puppets to their own lust and greed that somebody uses to blackmail them, to sway them to pass and protect their illegal activities. So they can throw them under the bus. Oh no, I didn't pay you nothing because you took money. That's You committed a federal crime. You violated your ethics. You took a bribe. You committed treason, sedition. We think that little black book that we'll never get to see is damning. Well, think about what all these corporations hold over our politicians. How much dirt they have on our politicians. And they are the ones that are controlling the information, the narrative. Because we start questioning the vaccine that Pfizer's putting out and all these other pharmaceutical companies putting out, they're not going to make no money. Ain't nobody going to buy it. Nobody's going to get it. So we need to control that information. We need to cancel, shadow ban, put fear. If you talk about this, you'll be suspended. You don't have the right to be thinking for yourself and questioning things. We dictate that. So no, I'm not going to pay $8 to have a blue check mark just so I can vote on your poll. If my opinion don't matter, then you are a farce, a hypocrite, and a liar. You're just another snake oil salesman that's scamming the American people. And that's what I think of Elon Musk. Now, if he changes his mind, I will take that back. But yet I can't take back the promise he made to Flint, Michigan, that he's yet to uphold and honor. And actions speak louder than words. His actions continuously contradict. Loving where Twitter's going, but it's just a temporary illusion. I love the fact that he's pushing the stuff out there. But that's just feeding the masses for his own gain and greed. Or his own ego, whatever it may be. But he ain't the only one. Zuckerberg's the same way. They're all like that. Gab's like that. They proved that. They got caught 3 times. Then it took them threatening to permanently remove them, and they didn't have the backup up and ready to go. But still, it's just still the same thing over there. If you're not a Christian and you're a religion they don't agree with, and you start talking about it, you're subject to be removed. I get that. I respect that, so I don't talk about things like that over there. It's falls on us too to respect these places. Gab's a decent place. Not really my thing. I spend more time on the Minds, Twitter, YouTube. YouTube's great for educational purposes, as long as you stick in the frame that you're looking for. Because it's full of bad as well. I mean, it's scary. There's shit hidden on here that if you guys knew about, yeah, but it's everywhere. I don't pretend it's not. I know when me and my good friend were talking about creating our own platforms, and I was working on it, designing it, and building it. I'm like, we all know sex sells. I'm like, well, what about adult websites? Are we going to allow that? Somebody wants to create an adult website? He's like, no. I'm like, but we're talking about free speech, freedom of expression. So we're going to categorize that as taboo, no-go. We can't have that. He's like, yes, I don't want that. I'm like, okay, I respect that, but I don't agree with you. We're truly going to create something free speech, and this is what the Minds has, and this is what kind of Twitter does have. Twitter has plenty of porn on it. That's acceptable. I mean, whether you like it or disagree with it, And it doesn't really matter because in the end, it's up to you not to look at it. If it pops up in your feed, block them. Don't follow. Change the page, turn the page, scroll past. Mute it, whatever. If you got tools that allow you to prevent that stuff to happen, it's going to pop up from time to time. If you got a friend that's into that, it might show up in your feed. You don't have to look at it. Actually, one of the features I like about the mind, I can turn it to where mature adult content doesn't show. Not safe for work content will not show. Now, if the person puts that up there and doesn't follow by their TOS, then they get, they're either forced to put it on or they got to take it down because they violated TOS. If you're going to put up mature adult content, mark it not safe for work so it doesn't show up on the main feeds of people that turn it off. Great. People don't care. Some people don't even know that's available there. I wish Twitter had that in some cases. And I can't screen share anymore, but when I could, I mean, two places the Minds, I just go turn on not safe for work, and I didn't have to worry about it over on Twitter. Oh my God, I got eye candy galore. And there's people that just follow me. Some I follow back. I've got friends that's in the adult business industry. I've got friends that do OnlyFans, chatterbait. That's what they do. Who am I to judge what they do for a living? They're making money. They're getting by. Not my place to judge. If they're a friend, I support them in what they do. I got friends in all walks of life. So I don't judge them by what they do. I judge them by their character, their actions, their friendship, their love. Every platform has its issues, it's going to be, but I can't agree with somebody that says, well, your opinion don't matter because you don't have a blue check mark. You're not paying me. So what, it's stupid. You're going to give a pull and do that. That's what I actually was respecting about him. He was listening to our voice, our opinion. Then this happens. Well, you shouldn't have created the dumb pull to begin with, saying you were going to step down or stay based on a pull. If you say that, you damn well better be ready. It's going to be manipulated. And it's not going to matter just with blue check mark. It's going to still happen. Oh, what did I miss? Very sorry, I wasn't paying attention to the chat. Pardon me while I go look for a brick wall to bash my head on. Man, I wish I had that emote. I missed my headbanger emote. Gonna what? I don't know. Who the fuck made this bitch? I don't know. Who are you referring to and what are you talking about? I am almost on the hour mark. Good thing I did look up. So, here in a little bit, we're going to cut out for a bit and we'll get back up. I will restart the stream and we will get back. So, take a little break now if you want. I'm going to ramble on what I've been rambling on until we get cut off. And I'll restart the stream and continue. Labels are dangerous. They can be used to control us. That simple. That check mark is a label. It's a symbol. It's like, sign your name here. Accept my badge. It's a form of control. And I can't agree with that. And that's the problem. He does these things while releasing the Twitter files. All this stuff. It discredits that. Or it makes it look like to be one big distraction. Is Twitter bleeding money? Yeah, it's going to. Oh, the list? Damn, I was way behind. We're back, guys. Oh, my bad, Bria. I didn't realize you were talking about the list. Oh, yeah, that list. I'll forward it to you. Like I said, I'll put it in the link. Cause actually, I wonder if I can grab it now. I'll just put it in chat. That's what I'll do. Maybe. Bear with me one moment, guys. Let me go over on my Twitter and grab this link. I guess that didn't work. All right, I'm gonna actually have to link you guys to my Twitter. I guess that didn't work. All right, I'm gonna actually have to link you guys to my Twitter. Okay, there's a link to Hollywood's. She retweeted it when we were talking about it. They were briefly talking about it in a space. Like, brought it to her attention. It's a downloadable PDF. Just click on the link, and you'll be able to download the PDF. Sure, you get a good laugh out of it. I did. Got a little pissed off too. But back to what I was saying, there's a marketing opportunity there. There is a big marketing opportunity for Elon Musk that he's not even looking at. He can bring in new investors, new advertisers who supports freedom of speech or supports our Constitution, American companies and businesses. He can get a new group of advertisers and screw the rest. You guys want to censor and complain? We don't need you. It opens up a whole different new marketing area for a whole different group of people that wants their advertisers, that wants people with freedom of speech, that respect those things, that won't care somebody what they're talking about because they believe in that concept. It opens it up to the moms and pop stores. He could essentially help bring business back to the mom and pops, the small businesses, by offering a cheap place to come and advertise. But he's not looking at that. Sometimes when you do stuff like that, and he's not the only one that will benefit, because eventually he's going to reopen it. They all do it. We watched every platform pretty much put it back up in the stock market and sell shares. It would be beneficial to everyone. He could easily stop the hemorrhaging of money. I mean, it might be a Band-Aid at first, but it'd be income coming in to the positive, and it'd put some of these corporations in check. When you have a big social platform like Twitter that says, fine, if you're going to bitch, complain, you're going to leave, there's the door. Don't let it hit you where the good Lord split you on the way out. You're replaceable with people that will hold to these values, fundamental values of free speech, and don't believe in censorship. He would eventually make a killing doing that. And he would set a precedent for other social media platforms to do the same. Break away from that cycle of control. That wanting to censor somebody. Huge opportunity there. But then we have to ask, does he really care? I mean, I like to think he does believe in those things, the freedom of speech. But there's a part of me that also sees the other side of it. That has to play the devil's advocate. Well, what if he's just doing this to destroy the platform? You got to question it. You have to question everything. But no, I will not be paying for a blue check mark. Stop asking. I don't know why all of a sudden I've had a bunch of DMs asking me why. Obviously you don't know me. I don't pay to play. If I got to pay $8 to get a verified blue check mark, you're telling me that my opinions are meaningless and worthless anyway. Because I want to have those freedoms of those opinions, those things that you're saying you're standing up for, I have to pay for it. Sorry. Got the wrong guy. That'd be like telling my ancestor, John Rutledge, you need to abandon this fort and let the British have it. Oh, we don't care what it's made out of. The British are going to take it. We're leaving. We're ordering you to leave it and abandon it. Fuck off. We're not abandoning this fort. And they will not take it. Their cannonballs cannot penetrate this fort. Guess what? For I think it was 7 days, they shelled that fort. Guess what? They left. They couldn't take that fort. John Rutledge stood up to what he believed in. He stood up to what he knew was right. In some cases, he did some wrongs. In some cases, he made decisions that we see now were wrong. But back in that day, they did not see government getting as big as it was. Some of them did. I mean, he championed the cause to go against the treaty with Britain. He foresaw what it would bring about, how long this nation would be in debt to Britain, and the consequences of it, the control they would have, costing his nomination to the Supreme Court to be a Supreme Court justice. That he was supposedly, according to Washington, was a shoo-in for, because Washington appointing to the Supreme Court justice to fill in until his nomination, to replace the guy that left or died. I can't remember which there. But there's also, hey, they played dirty games back in. You know, there's some books that were written and stuff. There's legal stuff that ended up going to court. They couldn't prove he wrote it. Where, because he was fighting. He was against that treaty. And hey, took a page out of Franklin, or Benjamin Franklin's book. And John Adams they were all sons of liberty. They were all sons and daughters of liberty. Sons of liberty. They all were fighting to be free. He helped write the laws of our Constitution. That's why he signed it. I'm vehemently opposed to anybody that wants to strip those freedoms away from us, wants to take our rights, wants to treat us like second-class citizens. I'm a second-class citizen to nobody. I ain't nobody's slave. I ain't nobody's sub. I ain't nobody's mark or label or symbol. Same token, don't make me become one. Because in warfare, the rules are thrown out. I can play the same games. I have the same knowledge. And I'm probably better at it than most of you that think you control and run things. So are several of the people that I associate with. A few of them are, like myself, direct descendants of signers of the Constitution, our founding fathers. Just because our names are not in politics anymore, we've been out of the limelight for a very long time. We like it that way. Because we want this country to thrive and be what it is. We want you to have those freedoms. We want you to be free. But we see the division. We've seen how they use words, labels, symbols, social media outlets to divide, to subjugate, to instill fear and control over all of us. We've seen how the corporations influence and control our speech, our freedoms. In fact, in this day and age, it's so in your face, it's not even funny. But the problem is, so many people become so numb to it because it's been in their face. It hasn't been in their face. It was conspiracy theory. It was Alex Jones screaming at the top as long as this is happening. To where people got numb to it, or they seen that. And it's like, man, that's a madman. That's a crazy man. Then we seen what happened, what Congress did when they brought the CEOs and the heads of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Well, Facebook, Instagram, one and the same. In for the little round table meetings. The dog and pony show, the three-ring circus show is what I called it. We literally had senators demanding Dorsey or Twitter remove Alex Jones from the trending because he was trending. Because he was speaking out. And the stuff he was saying was true at that time. And they did. Within minutes, he was removed. No longer trending, nowhere to be found. I don't know if it was the same day or next couple of days. And then he was suspended from Twitter. We had a standing U.S. president account suspended for Twitter. But we didn't have dictators' accounts suspended. We did not have murderers, world leader murderers' accounts suspended. No, that was okay. We can't have Trump. I mean, I've stated my opinion. He was my president. It's like, and I hate to say it, Obama was my president. But he was. He got elected. Biden is not my president. The only reason Biden is president because we need changes in our laws. Because the court cases that went to court that have now proven election tampering, that have been won in the Supreme Court, won in court, but because the committee is January 6th, because the courts had not had time to get all their stuff, or these states did not have the time to get all their stuff through the courts and go through the court processes. January 6th came and gone. I think the first case I actually got ruled on, that was found that, yes, there was illegal gerrymandering and tampering in elections, was in March. Nothing can be done. Congress has voted. Congress did not have the proper and the court documents to prove it one way or the other, so therefore they voted for Biden. Nothing we can do, nothing we can say, so yes, but technically Biden is our president. Whether we like it or not, no matter how much we want to say he's not my president, Congress failed us, our system failed us. These court hearings should have been done and held before January 6th and ruled upon. This shows us either we need to change the time frame of these things, because that's a serious matter and a matter that needs to be questioned and brought into accountability. So maybe January 6th, maybe we need to allow that to be open until March, April, May, June, maybe give it 6 months, so things can go through the court. If we ever run into that case again, I'm sure we're going to. Hell, we got Lake and Hobbs going to court over illegal election procedures, voting procedures. And it's actually looking very favorable towards Lake. So don't tell me that election tampering don't happen. We had I think he was a 9-year-old kid at a convention prove voting machines could be hacked, and did it easily. This year alone, we had a voting machine that was being sold on eBay. We're never going to ever get away and have a straight election. Hasn't happened from the beginning. I mean, to this day, we still have dead people voting. Although making state IDs mandatory, we can start going after these places where these dead people's votes show up. Because guess what? Now there is a crime that has been committed because they do not have an ID, so therefore their votes don't count. Could never vote. They could never vote to begin with. They're dead. Many of which have been dead for hundreds of years in some cases. But we still see this pop up every election cycle, every election. But let YouTube, Twitter, Facebook tell you that's misinformation. We have our own fact checkers that say that's not fact. How can you tell me that's not fact when the documents have been proven? Time and time again, it's been proven. But you still say that's misinformation. That's why you removed 2 of my videos earlier back in October, because of something me and Swordport talking about elections. But yet, there was no misinformation there. It was us questioning the system, questioning the legality. We talked about these cases that was going before court. We also talked about, January 6th. These cases aren't going to be resolved. In fact, I even stated that, Biden's going to be the president because ain't no congressman is going to vote for Trump with no proof, no cases being won. But I guess you're saying that's misinformation too, right? January 6th committee has they'll say that these cases weren't going before courts. I guess YouTube should remove themselves. Don't really care. You did absolutely nothing besides make me do a little work replacing the link to my website and to various places I share it, which is a lot. But guess what? Those videos are still there, just not on YouTube. Why? Because I take all my videos, as soon as they're done, as soon as they're processed, I download them or upload them to my computer, then go back, go to Internet Archive, download them there, go to a couple other places, download them there, so I have a backup. And I always have a permanent backup on my portable hard drive. You did nothing. You removed nothing. A little slight cost, just caused me to do a little work, which I needed to do some site maintenance. Still do need to do some site maintenance on my WordPress site. I haven't kept it up to date. I've been busy working 11-hour days. For what? For barely being able to get by, barely being able to put, basically just being able to buy enough food to get through 3 days before I go back to work. That's neither here nor there. That's a whole nother topic for another podcast. Because we're talking about words, symbols, Twitter. The Twitter files. I mean, wow. I mean, I've been listening to some great spaces. Some great people commenting, talking about, having discussions about these things. I've stated it. To me, I know I can't see where I could take these into a court of law. That's my problem with it. And win a case. We can question it, but we know it's happening. We know this is happening. This, sheds the light on the fact that the CIA, FBI, and a few other organizations were paying Twitter millions of dollars. Same way with Facebook, all the social media platforms. But let's not just put the blame there, because they're not the only ones doing it. Other countries do the same thing. These social media platforms have become cesspools for the corrupt to control the information, the narrative. The most valuable thing on this earth is not currency, it's not people, it's information. He who controls the information controls the world. He who controls the information controls the people. And all information is a bunch of words, digits, numbers, symbols. Things that we control that has meaning or power. Unfortunately, they use that against us too. Fine, you don't like it, go somewhere else. We'll create a new platform for you. We'll give you all the bells and whistles. We'll tell you it's going to be all this. Freedom. You can say what you want. Then comes in the corporation to put their advertisements. Once they start making their money, next thing you know, it's the US change. Next thing you know, it's the same song and dance as the rest of the platforms we keep running from. No, we keep running instead of taking a stand. They're like, well, they suspend your account. What do you do? Create a new one. In fact, I have multiple backups for this. Already, set and ready to go. I am not leaving YouTube. You will literally have to suspend and ban my IP address to get rid of me. And you're still not going to get rid of me because there's ways around that. I will be your thorn in your side till the... We're not going to finish that comment. Don't want to give anybody any ideas. Not that I worry. There's a long line. Get in it. You probably won't get to it in this lifetime. I'm not going to live my life in fear. I'm not going to live my life in subjugation. Truth is, I don't need all this technology. I don't. I'm happy with human interaction. I want to talk to my family in Brazil. If I can't call them, I'll work, save up the money, and go visit. I want to go see my friend in North Carolina. I'll hit him up on the ham or the CB. Shoot him an email. Hey, cool if I come down for a week or so. Save up the money and go. Fucking parents' house still has a landline. It works. You don't need this. You really don't. It's an aggravation, honestly. A little black mirror there, they track me everywhere I go, listening to my conversations. Bombard me with high amounts of EMF. Bombard me with 5G frequency. Does it bother me? No. Why? Because I know how to manipulate frequency and vibration. Other people, yeah, it messes with them because they don't have that knowledge, that teaching. They don't know how to attune change their energies and frequencies and vibrations to block those things out, to shield themselves from. But actually, they do, especially the Christians. Actually, in the Book of Psalms, where it talks about putting on the armor of God. Got to be spiritual and have faith that you are putting that armor of God on, that you are being protected from these things. If you have that faith and conviction, guess what? You are being protected from those things. You're giving that power. Right? Wait, what are we doing? We're giving those words in that scripture, in that verse, power. And it works beautifully. Other beliefs and systems of faith have their own words. They have their own symbols that they give power through their faith and conviction. So why do we let words offend us? Why do we let words trigger us? Why do we let symbols? Your symbols are your flags, your banners, your pride flags. That has no meaning to me. Huh? Okay, cool. Pretty colors. Whoopsie. That doesn't represent who I am. Why are you letting it represent or triggering you? That American flag represents who I am, and what it stands for represents who I am. Not because I choose to, because I believe in it. I put my faith and conviction in the American people, my fellow brothers and sisters, that eventually we're going to do the right thing. Eventually we're going to stand up. We're not going to sit here and let people's freedoms be taken away. I don't care what religion you are. If they go after your religious beliefs, I will stand up for you. I don't care if you're a fucking Satanist or a Luciferian, I will stand up for you because it is protected under our Constitution. But Christians will say no, because that's how they're taught from their pulpits. They're evil. But guess what? When they get done with them, history has proven it, you're next. If your faith goes against the status quo of the government. That's why it is important that we unite as brothers and sisters, not as a label, not as a religion or a word. There's a label that's going to divide us. The Pledge of Allegiance can't be said in the... Oh, I must have struck a nerve somewhere. I got it. Oh, it's been a while since I had to do that. Funny, honestly, it didn't show up as a viewer. Now, since I've been down this road dealing with some of these spammers, a lot of times I'll go to their account and it's disabled. I knew it was coming. I've been on the mark here for a while, so. See, but that's also the reason why I don't no longer allow. I don't post the phone number or the link for people to join me. It's where you have to ask for it and I'll send it to you. Because we've had this happen in the past where I let people just put it in there and people freely call in and try to get the channel taken down. But I also don't I'm gonna sit here and play with trolls that are intentionally trying to get my content taken down for adult pornography and spam. It's nothing but an algorithm bot. I said something that triggered the algorithm, and here comes the bot. Sucks to be that person. They should have really asked what happened to the last one. But like I said, that's sometimes the hard part when I don't really have moderators or stuff. I have to take care of stuff myself. It's really why I haven't done a Twitter space, because seeing how out of control they can get. I don't know what you're talking about for free spirit prep internet. I really don't. But I know what triggered that. I'm going to point this out right now. Anybody that understands the AI and the algorithms here on YouTube, and it's actually documented, I think within YouTube, how it works. It monitors your speech. It monitors your mannerisms. So when I started going off on a little tangent like I did and getting a little bit more vocal, raising the pitch of my voice, it triggered the algorithm. And look, along came the spammer. And I knew it as soon as I did it, because I tried to keep my tone down and at a level pitch for the most part. But I triggered the algorithm. I knew I was going to, because I did something I haven't done in a very long time. I went in and updated my meta tags, which I did intentionally. So I was on the lookout for something like this to happen. Like I said, I know the tricks. I know the gimmicks. Am I all-knowing? No, shit, hell. I got scammed and tricked this year. Pride goes before the fall. I was being very prideful and egotistical. Hey, reality check, bring you down to earth. But yeah, somebody scammed me. She was a good one too. I mean, obviously we got this apartment together. But oh yeah, happens to the best of us. And when you start getting prideful and a little egotistical, not keeping that stuff in check, Yeah, something's going to come around and knock you down a few branches. That's why I got some legal issues I got to take care of. You know, like I said, these social media platforms are a cancer. I mean, especially the scammers. I mean, the bot scammers alone, it's ridiculous. But normally you can pick them right out because it's the same pitch every time. I get new followers on Twitter daily, solely females. If you follow them back, they'll instantly email you. And it's usually the same pitch line. You start talking to them for a little bit, and they start saying the same things as the previous one. That it's like, yep, okay, that was fun. Normally I don't indulge in it, but sometimes I do to learn to see what's the new gimmick, because you have to. Most people see it for what it is. Oh, there's some pretty eye candy. You're a male sucker. You'll be a sucker. You'll bite hook, line, and sinker. You'll give me what I want. And no. Looks aren't everything, my friends. And one, I ain't giving you shit. Of course, I learned the valuable lesson. Even if you're meeting in real life, you have, even if you're fucking in real life, that doesn't quite matter, because there's always that con artist just waiting to get you, con you and take you. But that's not everybody. So people are just gifted at it and really good, I guess. Or I've just gotten lax in my ways and missed the warning sign here and there. It's possible too. But that's why it's so important to have these conversations about these things, because once we're pointing these things out and making people aware, they might not agree with it. They might say, oh, it's not happening. It doesn't matter. We planted that seed. And eventually something down the road is going to trigger that. They're going to like, oh, it actually might trigger to prevent it from happening to them. They might not even realize it. But it's because you said it and discussed it. They didn't agree with it. Then eventually the realization will set in. We have, being able to do this, we have such great responsibilities. And we don't even realize it. We don't realize, are we influencers? You're damn right we are. Every single one of us that use this as a tool, that use this to have conversations and talk, no matter what we're talking about, whether it's gaming or just do it yourself. We're influencers, we're educators. And some people are just straight manipulators that do it intentionally to influence in a form of manipulation. We have great responsibility for the things we say. But that isn't up to the platforms to do. That's up to you to be mindful of. Be respectful of what you're doing. Be mindful. Be responsible. Can't get rid of the psychopaths from the world. Can't get rid of the sadists from the world, the evildoers. They're always going to be there. That's just nature. It has to be both. Always been that way. I think each of us are all ambassadors and stewards in our own right. We all have a message, whether we agree with the message or not. If we stumbled across them while they're talking about it, it was obviously meant for us to hear. We were drawn to it for some reason. That's the way I look at things. And it does help, because I'm not subjugated to these mind games, words, symbols, labels, marks, these control mechanisms. I can sit there and listen to somebody I don't agree with. Listen to these conversations. That's what we need to train ourselves to do. Yes, you have to train yourself to be able to do it because we've been taught and programmed not to. We have algorithms and AIs that pick up on our vocal pitches, our mannerisms, our change in speech. That will trigger something like a spam bot coming around. Or you say a word and they use it to instill fear because they don't want you to say those things. How long before that list, Stanford's list of words they don't want you to say that you need to replace with this or don't say at all, becomes part of an algorithm? If you say it, your channel gets deleted. Or your live stream ends abruptly. They'll use that as a fear tactic. And, there's people talk about the credit score thing. We'll lower your credit score. You know what I got to say about that? Here's my opinion on it. Take it for what it's worth. Fuck you and your credit score. You already raped me with taxes, which is unconstitutional. I could give a damn less about your credit score because I'd rather not owe anyone. Because if I'm in debt to you, you can use that to control me. You can say, well, because you're talking about this thing, we're going to take your PayPal account. We're going to take your Visa card or MasterCard. We're going to close your bank account. Which is kind of scary in itself, now that I think about it, because how many of us, our checks are direct deposited? Why? Because we want to we want to be more green friendly and cut back on the use of paper. Nowadays, you have to have a bank or they're going to take a huge chunk or not cash your check at all. So if we got to that point, well, it's just easy to have it directly deposited. Dangerous game we play with because now they control it. They can close our bank account, take our money. And use that to control us, to subjugate us. So, people are talking about that credit score thing. It's something to think about. But here's something to think about. Save up your money and buy it. That way you own it. Or if you have to take a loan, at least be able to pay half of it off. That way it's less of a loan and manageable to pay. Or go without. If you got to borrow to get it, you probably don't need it. Which is not the case. Some, car breaks down. You got to have a vehicle to go back and forth to work to buy groceries and stuff. So I get it. But sometimes we're better without these things. We live in a day and age where it's scary enough. And we don't think about the consequences until somebody points it out or talks about it. Hell, I didn't even think about it. That part where, it's been so convenient having my checks directly deposited. I don't have to worry, and most of my stuff's set so where I don't even have to sit here and keep up a checkbook or it's direct deposit, and most of my bills are direct pay. Right straight to my bank account, so I don't have to sit there. I know it's getting paid because money's there. They do have control. No matter how much we want to say we're free from these things, well, obviously I'm not completely free from the system, am I? They're always going to have their foothold and stranglehold. But I tell you what, you're not going to use it against me. If you do, okay, give me that paper. I'll take the paper check. Oh, but yeah, they could deny the cash, or I'm going to have to pay a percent. They're going to take a percent to cash my check. Well, somebody's going to cash that check because they're greedy. If not, well, guess what? Me and my employer is going to have to employer's gonna have to figure a way so I get my check. If they can't, well, I guess I'm not gonna be employed for them anymore. There's too many ways in this world to make money. Cash. That's why I'm not a big fan of crypto. Because it's an illusion. There's no real currency there. It's something that's made to get you in. Another form of control. Currency is control. Because we gotta have money. So many laws have been passed where we can't self-sustain ourselves. You live in a city. They don't want you growing gardens. They don't want you collecting rainwater. It's all about control. It's all it's ever been about. He who controls this, he who controls information, he who controls the words you can and can't say, well, guess what? You can say whatever the fuck you want. And you should. Don't let anybody tell you you can't say something or can't do anything. Use common sense there, because they're not telling you to go out and do what thy will, because that's not how it works. You can't be going out there breaking laws. But there's some people out there, well, if the law is unconstitutional, then it's not a law. I would agree with you. But there's consequences to that train of thought, that ideology. And you will pay consequences. For every choice we make, there's a consequence, good or bad. We're always paying for our choices. But they're your choices. You have the freedom to make those choices, but also be a man or woman enough to accept the consequences that come with those choices. Don't start playing the blame game. You made the choice. I didn't put a gun to your head or a knife to your throat and force you to make that choice. Your actions, you're responsible for your actions. You're responsible for your words too, guys. You know that saying, actions speak louder than words, that's responsibility. You're taking ownership of your choices and your actions. If I give somebody my word, I'm going to do everything in my power to keep it. But the truth is, I'm not going to give just any Joe Schmo my word. You've got to earn that right. You know, just like I said, trust is earned, not given. I'm not giving you trust blindly. You have to earn that trust. And you earn that trust by your actions and your words. Because your actions define you. The people that I keep around with me, people in my circle, those are the people that I can trust with my life. You know what? Because I've earned that right, they can trust me with theirs, and they know it. Like I said, looks, please, thinking that you're going to be scamming me because you're a pretty face. Looks have something to do with it. It's the conversation, it's the connection, it's the energy and the vibes that draw us together. It's that trust that we build together. You know, just like if I want to get laid, it's not going to be with somebody I just met. You know, it's going to be somebody that I've known, that's our relationship type. You know, hey, Now let's just go and handle our business. And we're still friends afterwards. We're just not been really. Yeah, I know that's taboo for some of you, but when I'm with somebody, I'm with them, and that's mutual respect between all parties. There's a difference. Some people don't agree with that type of lifestyle or that belief system. Well, cool. I respect yours, respect mine. Was that part of it's none of your business. That's something that's behind closed doors. Now, if you see me, I'm with somebody, you see me out with somebody else fooling around, well, that's a different story because, well, and again, do you know us? How do you know we're not a poly couple? Maybe that's, we're in an open marriage, an open relationship. That's what we agreed upon. But, if you're close enough to us, you'd know that. So, I mean, we take so much. We see so much. We're bombarded with so much stuff. There's so many dynamics out there. And it's meant to be that way because it allows it to make them easier to pit you against somebody else, to divide you, and use it to separate friends and family because, well, he's living this type of lifestyle, or she's living this type of lifestyle. That goes against what we believe. We can't be friends with them. There's so much stuff they use against us, it's not even funny. With that said, guys, I want to wish you guys all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Mainly because we got this winter storm coming. I'm not sure. I might get stranded in Ohio. So I might not be able to do a Christmas Eve or Christmas podcast this weekend. It's back to work for me tomorrow. And that winter storm's supposed to hit Wednesday night into Thursday or Thursday. Who knows? It's, tough. Weather's unpredictable. But it's definitely looking like blizzard-like conditions. And after that, some really frigid weather. So I might end up getting stranded in Ohio, which is cool. Time with the parents. I'm going to try to be back. Plus, next week I'll be moving to start packing and be ready to get out of here by the first of the month. But I do plan on doing a podcast this weekend. Or attempt to. I might not be able to. I might be snowed in. But you guys be safe. Hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. Like I said, if things popped up and it's like, you know what? I want to talk about these things. I'm a spur of moment type person. And I felt drawn to talk about it, so here we are. We talked about it. And be on to something hopefully new and thought-provoking for the next one. With that, guys, like I said, enjoy, be safe. If I don't hear from you guys are going to be out partying, drinking, especially for the New Year's. Be safe, get a designated driver. Be safe during this winter storm. Make sure you have your provisions. Propane tanks for some heat. Power outages is very possible with these winter storms. Use your guys' heads. Especially if you got many people want to be traveling, so you might get stuck at airports. Think about these things. It is winter. We should somewhat be prepared for winter, as we should be prepared for each season. But sometimes it takes a reminder. I'm going to be that friendly reminder to all of you. Why? Because I do care. I ain't a twisted sadist like that. I do care about people. I care about my friends, my subscribers. And I know a lot of people are going to be getting ready to travel here in the next couple of days. So you guys be safe out there. We'll see you on the next one.